Hello everyone, I am Shubha Kankaria and welcome to episode 13 of Daastan-E-Raahi. It is a travel talk where we get to know about amazing places through wonderful stories of various travelers. So our today's guest is a record holder for the fastest person who have traveled to all seven continents in less than 87 hours. She is an UAE resident, IT manager by profession, and has been to almost all parts of the world. Today, she's going to talk about her experiences traveling around the world and also about the planning that went behind achieving the Guinness World Record. So, guys, without any further delay, let's get on board Dr. Romaithi. Hi, Dr. Romaithi, how are you?
I'm good, Shubha. Thank you for having me and stay delight.
Yeah, welcome to Dastai Rahi. It's such a pleasure to have you for the talk.
Thank you so much. The pleasure is mine and happy National Sports Day for India.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so to begin with our talk, tell me how traveling started for you.
As a matter of fact, traveling started like any other family a very long time ago when my children were little. My husband and I both work, so we wanted to spend quality time with our family, with our kids, and that's when the traveling started. But it didn't become frequent until the announcement of the Expo 2020. So by that time, we already have seen one third of the world, and the kids were growing up. So their curiosity grew with them. Their choices of places, they had the mind of their own. So by that time, we have already seen one third of the world. And then the announcement of Expo came in 2013, and that's where I got the aha moment, where I wanted to go and see the world before the world comes to Dubai.
Wow. So the expo is happening, I think, starting from October, right?
Yes, yes. The expo is starting on the 1st of October 2021 until the 31st of March 2022. It's a great, it's a world fair, which is considered the greatest country show where many of the nations will come to showcase their countries outside their borders. So it's a really unique experience and opportunity not to be missed.
Wow. And it sounds exciting after the pandemic. It has been a very dull time for all of us. So I'm sure this expo will bring new energies to Dubai and UAE, of course.
Yes, of course, Shubha. I mean, still the travel restrictions is out there, and Dubai is welcoming the world. So our travel restriction to the country is not as strict, but we have certain rules and regulations. And of course, we're waiting for people to come and join us in the expo. It's a historical moment. It's like traveling the world in one place. So it's under one roof, one shop stop, as they call it, a one-stop shop. So it's really great if people can come and experience this travel, or you can call it experience, where they can have the entertainment, the different cuisines, the culture, all in one place.
Wow, sounds really very exciting. Okay, so talking about your travels, you have been to almost all parts of the world, which is very amazing. So, talking about that, tell us which place is really close to your heart, specifically in terms of the experiences you had when you were there.
Okay, so basically, there are so many beautiful countries out there, places, different geographies, beaches, seven wonders, UNESCO World Heritage Sites, places to relax. But for me, what really matters most is where I feel welcomed and where I feel warm. And to me, two places are close to my heart. One is India. It's like a home outside the home because
Yeah.
we have so many Indians here. I have so many Indian friends. So going to India, I feel welcomed, and I feel like the place I can adapt to very easily. So this is one of the places that I really like and enjoy. And another place is China, because the time I visited China, I was quite surprised. I didn't expect it to be the way it is. People there are really hospitable. You know, the East is known for being hospitable. So I really like China. It's by, by size, it's almost the size of the United States. So it's really huge, big. You have, it's one of the fourth civilizations, oldest ancient civilizations of the world. So I really like the history. I really like the people's hard work, and that's why I also like China with India. And as I mentioned, places which I love to go to is mainly because of the people, because of their hospitality, because of them being who they are. If I go to the most beautiful place and I don't feel welcomed, then it wouldn't really resonate as a good memory for me. So people is the number one. They are the asset of every country I visit.
Wow, being an Indian, hearing India from you, lot like feels great for me. Okay, okay. So moving on and talking about the record that you made, like almost going to all the seven continents in less than 87 hours, which sounds like so tough, and I don't know how you did it. So I want to understand what kind of preparation went behind in achieving this kind of record. And what would you advise someone who would like to follow your footsteps and go ahead for some kind of record like this?
Sure. First and foremost, the number one thing anyone should do when they want to follow my footsteps and break a record is to register in the www.guinnessworldrecords.com website. There, as soon as they register, they will get an email confirming the registration. Then they need to choose the record they want to set. So either they choose out of a record, so either they break a record or they come up with a new record. And normally, if they come up with a new record, it takes 12 weeks before Guinness World Records reply to them, which is almost 3 months. And then there are like a set of rules and guidelines they need to follow. So this was the first step towards my Guinness World Record. Actually, my Guinness World Record, I wanted to do it as a cherry on top of the cake, because by that time I was traveling the world. So I have traveled to the 208. In between, I did the record. So in my journey around the world, I did the record and I wanted to continue, but the pandemic hit. So I hope that people can break my record or break new records, because it's nice to see people from this part of the world. You always hear about the West breaking records, and rarely do you hear, adventures from this part. Although I know there are a lot of talented people in India and in this part of the world which can do it. So and I wanted to set an example for other women, married women, mothers, employees who work, so that they can do it. And I hope people can do it. So basically, after they register for the Guinness World Record, they need to do a lot of planning and budgeting. And so if I speak about my specific record, I had to budget, then do all the visas, then choose the countries in the continents, because to Guinness World Record, it doesn't matter. You do, as long as there's you need to go to every continent. So I'm the fastest time to travel to the seven continents. So I had to, it doesn't matter to them if it was one country or 10 countries in a continent, as long as I break the record previous to mine. So a lot of things, the distance, knowing the country, to me, basically, because of my previous experience, it helped a lot. So I got to choose which countries I wanted to go to, and knowing the airports, the time it will take there. By the time I leave the airport, there are certain rules, regulation I had to follow from Guinness. A lot of things go to it, but I'm sure that anyone who is determined and willing to take this, challenge for a purpose, because in the end we all do something for a purpose, I'm sure they'll be able to. So this is how it. This is my advice to to all the followers and viewers out there that if they wanted to do it, they can just simply go to the website and look up. There are a lot of records other than mine, but they're most welcome to break my record. I can personally break my record, but now with the things happening around, I'm not sure. And maybe there's one thing that I would like to note, that even with the rigorous planning I have put in place, my plan changed 2 hours before my flight due to the weather conditions, which is one of the risks that I have calculated, but didn't expect the change. I thought it would be the same schedule, but the next day the schedule changed and I had to improvise right away. So this is in a nutshell my experience, my record, and how people can apply for a record. And I wish them all the best.
Wow, I mean, I'm sure people listening to you would be inspired, and a lot of female young girls, women would be inspired to, go for a record like this. And like it gives a lot of inspiration to people that if someone can do this, we can also do that. So I'm sure you would be inspiration for so many people.
I'm sure they are my inspiration. We're all different in our own ways, and we complement each other to make this world a better place. So I'm sure, we all learn from each other. I may be good in something, and I'm sure they're good in another thing. And it all comes from passion, what they're passionate about. I hope they follow their passion and make us all proud. Yesterday was Emirati Women's Day. So happy Women's Day to all women around the world.
Yeah, absolutely, I think. So, okay, when you actually, did this record, how is the feeling like? I mean, you knew that you had broken the record and everything. Then how is that feeling like?
Okay, to be honest, like during the record itself, I was under a lot of pressure, under a lot of stress. But then I kept on telling myself, I need to enjoy it. What's the point? In the end, it's like a best kept secret between me, Guinness World Record, my husband, my children. We were the only ones who knew about it. So I was like, why am I stressing? I need to be happy. I need to enjoy it. And believe me, along the way, it was this energy, this positiveness that I believe made me do it, because I was like, even if I don't make it, I will still be happy. It doesn't matter. I'll redo it. And I kept going. And people along the way, when they knew like I was doing a Guinness World Record, they were cheering me. And even by the time I set the record, the time I arrived in Sydney, the captain came and everyone, all the passengers on the plane were happy, and they were taking pictures. And it was a wonderful moment, although it was at that time not verified or not I would say it was still, I didn't because I had to submit it to the Guinness World Record for them to make it official. So, but I had this happiness within me that, okay, I have done it, and this is the beginning. It's not the end. So they say success is a journey and not a destination. So to me, this was, okay, the start of something new, and I'm gonna achieve more and more goals and things that will make my country proud, my people, my region, females, my kids, my husband. So this was the feeling behind it. And people were happy. This is the beautiful part of it. People around you were happy. They're happy to come to know someone who was in an adventure, and like striving all the way, going through hardship, and because it's not easy. Trust me. If it was easy, you'll see more of it, but it's quite hard. In the end, I did it. I'm happy for it, and I'm happy for all the people along the way who kept on motivating me. So this was a nice feeling, and I'm glad I did it, and I don't have to repeat it only with my own will and not by feeling defeat. But I'm lucky that I made it. Thank God. I felt it from the beginning that I will do it because I like challenge. I'm a person who likes challenges, and eventually I did it.
Amazing, amazing. Your sheer determination is, I think, what made you do that. Okay.
Thank you so much.
So you actually did started from Antarctica and then you ended in Australia, did you?
Exactly. So I had to go to every country within a continent. So sorry, I had to go to every continent, and I can go to any country within the continent. So I chose the countries that I would go to. The record before me, they had different set of countries. So but we need to go to the seven continents. So it doesn't matter if I go to two countries or less. So along the way, so yes, I started in Antarctica. From Antarctica, I went to Africa, the continent, but I have chosen South Africa. I could have chosen Egypt. I could have chosen Namibia, Zambia, Zimbabwe, whatever. But me knowing the airport, I decided that I want to go to South Africa. Besides, I like South Africa. Their food is good. And from South Africa, I went back to the Emirates. I wanted to showcase my country. I can't go to any other country in Asia. Nevertheless, my country is something I wanted to it be part of my record. So I went back to my country, but it was part of a record. So it wasn't like I can do anything because it had to be back to back. You can't have a period of a blackout. You had to have it's all recorded, all
You were
everything you do is being registered with Guinness. You can't just like
you were like
you have to do it back.
all the time recording, like you were recording all
Yes,
the
yes,
time traveling.
yes. Yeah, so you had to record every 2 minutes, and for the previous record, there were two people. So if they slept, the other person would record. For me, it was quite tough. I mean, luckily, I had my I have put my lipstick on, but otherwise, I was really tired. Maybe without it, I would look really tired, but I managed to do it, even like setting the alarms, being structured. This was really important, and it wasn't easy. So from Dubai or the Emirates, I went to UK, and I could choose any other country. And there, I was almost denied flying because of the schedules. I have a visa waiver, so visa waivers are on a specific date, specific time. You can't just show up. But luckily, because I was going to the US and I had a US visa, this is an information I didn't know and came to know. I was allowed to step out of the airport. So people think also that my records is only on the plane or from airport to airport. They didn't know that I went to a hotel. I actually went shopping. I mean, like, had to buy something. It's part of the Guinness World Record guidelines. I can't drive. I had to be in a car, and even the speed is monitored. So there was a lot of things that went to it for it to be fairly assessed. And then from the US, my destination was supposed to be Miami initially, but due to the changes in weather from Antarctica, I changed to New York, and it wasn't planned. And I didn't even plan to go to Colombia, so I had to go to Colombia instead of going to straight from Miami to Chile. So I had to change my route, but still I managed to do it because I'm very used to flying. I'm very used to knowing, the planes, which planes. Normally when we don't know this information, it can be quite difficult, or when we have a certain preference. But for me, because I've been to so many countries, I gained this experience out of it, which was good. So I managed to travel from New York to Chile to Australia, and set the record. So it was almost one or two countries per continent, and it can be 10. It can be, but it has to be one. You need to step foot on one and do certain routine in that country. that is requested by Guinness.
Yeah.
So I did it, and I'm happy that I did it. And aside from the record, having the 208 countries also is an achievement by itself. So people can break a record, but can they also achieve 208 countries? So
Yeah.
the question.
Right. I think
Yes, and
there was some confusion with the people that you did 208 countries and the seven continent record together. So would you like to talk about that?
yeah. Thank you, Shubha, for bringing this up. Actually, as I mentioned, I was traveling the world. So I have traveled by that time to 208 countries. So it's linear, 208 countries. And before, finishing the 208, I wanted to submit this as a record, but then there were certain rules, regulations that you had to follow that I wasn't aware of. So when I came to know that for achieving a Guinness World Record, you need to do it. I did it in between. So I did, the 208 countries, the Guinness World Record, and planning to go forward. So it's a journey. It's a world, traveling the world journey. But in the middle of it, there was a record. People thought that in the 3 days I achieved 208 countries. It can't be. Practically, it can't be. I don't have a magic lamp to do that or a genie to take me around the world, but I did it it was linear. So I traveled the world and then did the record and wanted to continue traveling the world. So in my journey, I also did a record. So that was the news announced by Guinness, and people misunderstood it because they don't know the whole picture.
Right.
Yeah, they thought that in 3 days
Yeah, I'm
I've been to
sure
208 countries, but if they know about the record,
yeah, please go ahead.
yeah, if they know about the record, then they would have understood it because my record is fastest time traveling to the 7 continents and not every country of the world. So I know I mean, with Guinness, it's a little bit specific and people need to search the specificality. They will find that 7 continents, people can travel to a country or more. So it's up to them. But yeah, so I hope this is cleared out. I did, if people are interested to know, the 208 countries in 11 years. So I started counting before the announcement of Expo. The reason I started counting from that specific time is because I visited some countries which are now in uncivil rest that I can't visit again. So I counted them at that time. And it was from 2008 till 2019. And then I did my record and then was planning to travel further. But during the record, there was the break of the pandemic, which really got me even worried at that time. But luckily, I came back home safe and I managed to achieve my record. And the pandemic is still out there. So yeah.
Yeah. So in like you have already been to like almost all of the world. So now what kind of purpose are you looking for in terms of travel?
Okay, so basically at the beginning, as I mentioned, it was more of a family travel and then, discovering places and history. But later on, I mean, as I was doing it, I felt that there was a bigger notion that I want to achieve, especially visiting and seeing people around the world and me liking people. They are living in conditions that really require help and aid. I was thinking that I hope that with achieving this record, I can be eligible if I go for any organization that supports, people, not like NGOs, that I would be eligible to travel to these countries. They wouldn't say, "Oh no, it's quite dangerous." I'll tell them, "I have been to these places. Please let me go." So yeah, this is one of the things that I plan to do. Becoming a hope maker. So a hope maker is, bringing hope to people. Sometimes I believe bringing hope does not really necessarily mean monetary. You can help them with food, you can help them with shelter, you can help them with teaching them, you can help them by just making them happy. And this is what I hope to achieve out of it. So when I was traveling the world, I was thinking that I want to see the whole world, look at the people, decide where to go. And I have something in my mind, like especially places in Africa, which I hope that one day we'll be able to help. The people were nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is like a far dream. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like a really a hopeful thing because being a hope maker is all what we can do, and that's amazing. That's amazing. Okay, so
Thank
Dr.
you.
Romaithi, this brings us to the end of our talk, and it was lovely speaking to you, knowing about the kind of experiences you had, and of course about the record. What went so much inside getting that record. So of course it was lovely speaking, and thank you so much for coming on Daastan-E-Raahi. It was completely my pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really glad that to be on your talk show, and I hope that people can learn from this experience and beat me one day. Really.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much and have a great day. Thank you everyone for joining and watching and
Bye.
listening to the stories. Thank you. Bye bye.